Our commentary will be back in a moment. Alright, so we're live streaming live. So welcome to this event. This is a bit of another fun one-off race, if you will. It's called Touring Car Madness. This race is going to be... Well, the quirk of it is that every touring car model in the game is available, so you can run whatever you bring, no matter how old or what it is, basically, as long as it's a touring car conforming to, well, any WTCR regulations, you can run it here. So, run what you've run. Let's have a look, see who's doing the best so far. We didn't stream practice because it's usually pretty boring. But we have a few times now on the timing boards. This is Stowe Circuit. It's a short track on the inside of Silverstone. You may not have known it existed, but it's pretty obscure. It's a free track within the game. This is a championship race with it's not a championship race, it's for fun. But this race is... You don't need any content to purchase in order to play this. Like, of course, other people have bought like Hyundais and Audis, like Andy Darnell and P2 on the leaderboard, 1/10 off of Kubovic, but on more on that later. Like more people like such as Aiden Bat, like there's some other people who can running Civics out of the starter pack, or like La Vestas from the free content available in the game. There's some people who run TCRs regularly are running like Volkswagen Polos, or even not sure if that's a Polo or a whatever it is that Volkswagen is, but number 12. So anyway, we've got 3 times on the board, 26 minutes to go, 4 times on the board. Christian Kubovic, that's the benchmark time of 51.9. Andy Darnell sets a 52, a very low 52 second time, P2. Ethan Mottram is around 3 and a bit tenths off of the pace. And that's your top 3. Vaj Terovic is 4th at the minute in the Lada Vesta. So from what I've gathered, Andy Darnell had the fastest time in practice. Well, at least that's what he was telling me when we were setting up the stream. Let's see how well that... We'll see how well that practice time holds up in quali when people actually start to try. Because lots of people skip practice and just go straight to quali. We got 10 drivers here today. And let me count. We've got 6 different makes of touring cars here today, which is pretty nice variety. Now everyone here is going to be used to driving like rear-wheel drive cars. These touring cars are very different in the fact that they're front-wheel drive. They have their own quirks like lift-off, oversteer, and you'd be running the wing angle at negative degrees, so you can push the front of the car down to get more grip and generate lift off the rear to push the front down, which I think is pretty interesting. Andy Darnell is 0.03 of a second behind Kubovic. Looks like a pair to watch today for the win. Ethan Mottram still 0.3 off the pace, 3 and a bit tenths. So the top 3 makes. So Christian Kubovic is driving a Honda Civic, and he got the pole position time. Andy Darnell in the Audi is like around 0.037 seconds behind him in an Audi, and Ethan Mottram is in 3rd place in the Hyundai. Timo Reiter in 4th place is driving a Honda. Fotis Isoglu is driving the Lada Vesta. Ibrahim Buhik, Lada. Adin Bashtarevic is in 7th, driving a Lada. And that's all the people in the grid for now. Bit slower today. I've had a little bit of a tough day. So if I missed a few things, then don't judge me. Not much is going to be happening during qualifying. All the action's going to be in your race, which is happening around 20 minutes later. So there's not really much to talk about. Kubovic just sets a new fastest lap. 0.4 over on Andy Darnell. And that's a new benchmark. Pole position for Christian Kubovic, further still in the Honda. The number 9 Honda Civic of Timo Reiter crosses the line, but he does not improve from 4th. He is around the same pace as Ethan Mottram at the minute. Might see a battle from them. Sonny Malucci, the Italian in the Volkswagen we've been seeing around at the 12. That's on a personal best. He's about to set his first timed lap. Something fun about Stowe Circuit is that not many people know about it and don't drive it a lot, so this is a new track for many people, and that's Fotis Isoglu and Ibrahim Buhik. They collided towards the end of the lap. Not sure whose fault was that, but they're gonna have to reset to pits and retry their laps. The brakes on these cars are kind of funky. I don't blame them, but we need to iron out those issues before we get to the race, because otherwise there'll be carnage and a real problem. Meanwhile, Andy Foster in the Renault. We saw Renault in the field right now. He's about to finish his lap. Timo Reiter's on the personal best first sector. Look at him go in the 9. Timo's doing pretty well. He's rounding off the lap to finish. You might pull ahead of Motram with this. Just messed up a little bit more. Just a little bit too much on that final sector to get any time over Motram's time. But you can definitely see it in him. It's definitely there. Pace is there for Timo Reiter. He can take third place if he could. If he tried. This is a very short track as well. I felt like I should mention, these are touring cars. These aren't the fastest thing in the world. It's not GT3s, but just normal like TCs. And these kinds of cars are doing like 51-second laps, like mid 51s, low 52s, high 53s. Just a testament to how short this track actually is. I'd imagine Stowe Circuit would be used as a junior circuit, if you will, for like maybe junior formulas, like Formula Ford. And Formula Student, maybe, for the engineers over in Britain. That's just a guess, though. I don't know. And he's on a personal best. Doesn't quite improve in his time. Just messed it up in the final sector. Seems like everyone's messing up in the final sector. Photosystic in the 11 lad has gone off again. It's a little bit of a tough car to drive. Lift-off oversteer is hard to control. But the trick with the front-wheel drive cars is to always never let fully off of the throttle mid-corner. Because as long as you keep that differential spinning, you're always going to have grip. Unless you're carrying it too fast and you'll understeer off the track. But if it's I don't really like driving these cars, but if it's one thing that I've learned, never let fully off of the gas mid-corner. I mean, like, that lift-off oversteer can be beneficial if you learn to use it correctly. I never figured it out, though. Sonny Malucci in the Volkswagen managed to place a P6. None of our 10 people have set lap time so far. The only one that hasn't set a lap time is Marcelo Rodriguez. If he doesn't wake up soon, he's going to have to start the race from the back of the grid. Which might be proving challenging, otherwise, or it might even be another soak situation. I used to race towards the end of an Audi TT championship. Like, there was a driver called with the second name Soak, who didn't qualify, didn't practice, and started from the back of the grid. But within like a few laps, he was contending for the lead with me. Like, I was absolutely stunned by him. Maybe it's another soak moment. Andy Darnell's hit the inside of a lad and collided with two. Wonder what that was about. People on pit exit not being smart. You keep to one side and make sure you don't damage your car. Also, just wasting time going back to pits and going out for another lap. Ideally, you want to do one out lap and keep the car out there until you run out of fuel. Then come in, then go out again. You want to keep the heat in the tires. Like, you're wasting time by getting more heat into the tires. Wasting time on that out lap. I mean, as it sounds now, you're able to get around like roughly 15 laps back, 15 laps in, 15 more attempts at pole position, and by resetting back to pits, you're losing around 1 lap to an out lap. So like you're losing every time you reset back to pits, you lose the lap. Time lap in quali, which is really important for grid position. Speaking of grid position, let's talk about the timings of the minute. So Kubovic, he's put it 51.6. I have no idea how he's done that, but he's a god amongst men apparently. Andy Darnell's managed to do 51.8. That managed to put him second, and the second car in the front row. Launch control should be able to see him through. Ethan Mottram's in third position. Timo Reiter's fourth, around the same pace as Mottram. Fotis Isoglu is in fifth position. Malucci is sixth. Foster seventh. Buchik eighth. And Bajtarevic is P9, back at the grid. And if Marcelo Rodriguez, the Brazilian of the Hyundai, in the pits at the minute, doesn't wake up, he's gonna have to start the race at the back of the grid. Or if he doesn't wake up at all, then he's gonna be just a sitting duck on the grid, and everyone's gonna have to dodge him. Then there's gonna be another accident. Someone's gonna hit him, like in the DTM Championship, the '92 revival. May or may not have watched that, but history might be doomed to repeat itself, ladies and gentlemen. So that's 12 minutes to go now. Around 13 hot laps left for everyone else. What's this glue just picked up pieces, managed to put it P3 ahead of Mottram and Reiter. Could be a 3-car train for the midfield in the last podium position. So I've been just getting a few messages from Kirsten Chupovic, the man on pole. And apparently this is his first time. The practice session was his first time on this combination, and he didn't expect to be the top 3. Who would have thought? The Super GT champion is just that good. What a coincidence, honestly. Well, there goes Darnell. He's gone fastest now. 51.55. Well, Fotis is still in 3rd position. Riper is 4th. Mottram is in 5th. Everyone else just keeps getting faster and faster. I don't know what to say. So, we've got 6 minutes left to go in qualifying, and this has gone quite differently than from the start. So Andy's on pole, Kubovic 2nd, 6/10 back is Fotis. Despite his spins at the start, he's gone 3rd fastest on the 2nd row. Joining him on the 2nd row is Timo Reiter, 1/10 behind him, and a further 10th behind Reiter is Mottram. The race leader for Wednesday's endurance race, or whenever that happened, maybe Tuesday. I forgot. But you know yourself, the endurance race, he was leading the endurance race in the prototype class for the overall win against Kubovic, and then his Wi-Fi disconnected, unfortunately. He seemed like a pretty good contender. The race got pretty boring without him, but he's back, and he seems to be contending for a good midfield finish here. It's going to be a 3-car train between him, Reiter and Fotis for the 3rd place. So 5.5 minutes left, around 10 more laps. No, 5 more laps, ish. If I were the people on track, like Andy Foster is in the Renault, I would be like doing the fuel calculations now for like how much fuel I'm gonna be using up in the race to save as much race as possible. There's a feature in our Discord actually for that. You put in the data that it shows you in the pit screen, and it'll do the calculations for you. It's this Discord bot in the PetrolHead server. It's pretty good. Seeing a few notifications coming up for the bot as well. So people are using it as I speak. Would have had the setup figured out by now and had it saved, but it's never too late. But bravo to Andy Darnell and Kubovic. They're really pushing every limit of... Well, it's a bit of a far stretch to call this a racetrack. I mean, half of it's cones. But they're pushing every limit of every cone. As Andy Foster drives through one to no consequence, but we'll push past that. Yeah, well, it looks like we're going to be having two battles here today. One for the overall win and one for the last podium place. Unless, of course, someone gets damage. I really hope nothing bad happens. so we actually get an entertaining fight this time. Yeah, I'm gonna get jinxed again, but you know what? I don't regret it. Oh, I didn't realize Marcelo Rodriguez has started to qualify like with a few minutes left. He's putting himself P8. The Hyundai. Rodriguez still remains P8. 2.5 minutes to go for him to improve. The second last road of the grid. Kubovic had another purple lap. He edges Andy Darnell by around, if he rounded off, 0.02 of a second. It's incredible how close these two are pushing it. Honda versus Audi. Look at them go. Fastest first sector for Andy Darnell. I haven't driven this track very much myself, but it looks like a challenging chicane for the front-wheel drive cars. That's a whole 10th Andy Darnell's found. He just needs to finish his dinner to put it on pole. And finish the lap he will. Could this be pole position for Andy Darnell in the Audi RS3? And he just loses that time he made. But the pace is there. There's still room for improvement for the Brighton. But from the looks on how these two people are performing, this looks like a glimpse of the race pace that these guys will be going at. It's like no one will be getting away from the other. We're all top two are either doing high 51, mid-high 51s or very low 52s on the bad lap. So that's it then. Qualifying is over. Christian Kubovic is on pole, but Andy Darnell may as well have a joint pole position with him because this 18 hundredths of a second off in the Delta. In third place is Fosa Sisoglu and the ladder with a 52.1, 52.2. Timo Reiter. Fifth, Ethan Mottram. Sixth, Andy Foster. Seventh, Sonny Malucci. And eighth is Marcelo Rodriguez, who joined very late. To best, Abraham Buhik and Adin Bashtarovic. I'm very sorry if I butchered your name, good fellow. I'm going to call you Revik from now on. 5 minutes warm up and intermission. Get the hype up, ladies and gents. That sounded much better in my head. Please don't leave. Well, anyway, that's incredible what Andy Darnell and Kubovic are really doing. This is going to be one heck of a battle. It's definitely going to be better than what we had in the Endurance. was on mute the whole time! How did this happen? Ah. Oh, well, that's not your fault, that's mine. I overlooked something. But anyway, well, your race winner, everybody, Christian Kubovic. He put it on pole, but he had a valiant battle with Andy Darnell, but in the end he came through and made the win possible. Timo Reiter managed to capitalize off of This Is Glue's DNF to score the first podium he's ever gotten in ages. Rodriguez, after deciding not to qualify until the last minute, converts the late start into 4th. This has been exciting, everyone, and I hope you'll enjoy the next stream. That was embarrassing. Oh, there's 2 more. Oh, that's wonderful. My game just it kicked me out of it, so I assumed it was finished. Sorry, folks. Yeah, I'll head back in. But yeah, very sorry for the lack of commentary. I was speaking that whole time, but I didn't like the way we're recording this is like something on Discord through OBS, and I muted myself on Discord because I heard that someone was telling me I had a buzz in my mic, so I just wanted to minimize stream noise. And at one point I'd forgotten that I had my mic on mute, and for like the entire latter part of the race I was commentating and no one could even hear me. So yeah, it's a bit of a whiff. Yeah, only 5 people finished that race. Yeah, there were 6 DNFs, including photos. No Lada Vestas finished the race. But I've got to say, you're doing a really good job racing Kubovic. So anyway, I'm just loading back into the stream. Just having a bit of a software problem. Commentary will be back in a moment, don't worry. It's a Friday, everyone's slow, the computer's slow, I'm a little bit slow. Alright, and here we have what's left of the 5-minute warm-up. 3 minutes to go. And only 8 people have bothered to stay for the next few races. Out of the 11 we used to have. So, to remind you off of last race's results, Christian Kubovic won it, Andy Darnell in 2nd, Timo 3rd, and Rodriguez 4th. Dave Ziska 5th, Buchik 6th, but everyone else DNF'd actually after Ziska. So let's hope that they keep the car in one piece this time. And everything will be good. Got some messages in the touring car chat. I was just taking a look in the touring car chat, and it's It's Kivovich saying that like Andy made one mistake out of all of that in those entire 10 minutes, and that's all he needed to take the lead away and win the race. Just a testament to the concentration of each of the lead drivers anyway. Anyway, I was thinking, like, if there's many people left after the race, I might do a little bit of an interview. I haven't done that in a while. And one more thing to mention, there's going to be a top 8 reverse grid. So the race winners, like, on podium people like Timo Reiter, Darnell, and Kivovich, like the people who got, like, top 8. So basically in the entire grid, it's going to be starting from back to front from where they finished, so Fotis Isoglu is going to be starting first. And Andy Foster second, and Ibrahim Buhik third, I believe. Like Andy Darnell, Kivovich, and Reiter are going to be at the back, which is going to make this very interesting. And people who win the second race from the back, like the last race's winners, have a very low chance of getting there unless they are really well and truly skilled and not just backing off their lucky fluke of a... So basically it's a proof whether if nobody's fluked their qualifying time. It's a testament of true driver speed, and that's Ziska. He's had his accident, gotten it out of the way. More of a stress reliever, just getting it out of him before the race so he isn't going on the back of another car. Might be waffling a little bit. So here we are. We're gonna have 8 cars in the grid this time. Fotis Isoglu and pole. Yeah. Like some of the people rage quit, Andy, so... So people are just setting up their fuel again. For a 20-minute race this time, this is going to be longer. It's going to be more of, like... It's basically going to be like the last race to double backed on itself. Alright, my mistake. Not 8, 7 cars in the grid according to my R3 reality. It's lights out. Fotis Isoglu gets a good start. Foster looks like he didn't have launch control. Timo Reiter's had a false start. Just a little bit too easy to get out of that line very quickly. Buhik's in third, Darnell's fourth, trying to get around him. Darnell's third. Kivovich is right behind him, side by side. There's 3 wide going into sector 2. This can't end well. Contact! Andy Darnell and Buhik. 3 wide into a tight corner, never ends well. And Timo Reiter's been disqualified for a false start. That's very... Well, rest in peace, Reiter. Last race is 3rd place. But anyway, lap 2, 18 and a bit minutes to go. Fotis Isoglu leads from pole, Andy Foster P2, holding off Kivovich in P3, Andy Darnell's in P4. He had a bit of an accident of the Buhik, who's now P6, Dave Ziska remains P5, and Rodriguez is at the back in P7. Kivovich wants that place, he wants that P2 from Andy Foster and Di Reno at 33. Christian's hitting his front bumper off the fast Renault continuously. He wants to get past, but he just can't find any space to do it. He can't keep tripping over Foster because Andy Darnell's catching up, right behind him. Meanwhile, at the back, Marcelo Rodriguez and Bruhick are chasing each other down for the fight of not last, ladies and gents. And Kivovic and Andy Darnell made it past Andy Foster, P2, P3 respectively, and are both now trying to make time with Photosysoglu. They've got 17.5 minutes to make this happen. Let's see what happens here. More accidents, more carnage. I've never looked into the pit stops for this, but maybe they might be pitting for fuel after 20 minutes, I don't know. We'll see what happens though, depending on the fuel. Ziska with a brute force move on the Civic. Abraham Buhick has got the track behind Rodriguez, but he managed to lose the position anyway. Bit of a muppet. And Bruhick keeps on losing his cool. He's going sideswiping into all over the place. Kivovic is taking down those tents bit by bit from Photosysoglu. Zisoglu's made a mistake. Kivovic's got to run, but maybe not. Kivo just got a bad exit there, but he's got it in him. Zisoglu won't last there for long unless he pulls off a defense masterclass. So that's more or less settled down now for now. Andy Darnell has a little bit of damage, I assume, from his kerfuffle with Buhick earlier in the other Vesta at the back of the grid. He just can't put those same lap times as Kivovic has been doing. Kivovic is now a 10th off. From bumper to bumper. He's looking on the inside for a move maybe. Stay sensible, focusing on those exits, waiting attentively and patiently for Photosysoglu, the Greek, to make a mistake. Christian tried it on the inside, but it's got no traction. Photosysoglu just got the better traction out of that last corner. They managed to keep it around half a second for a few laps now. The gap between the first two cars. This is definitely Photos' real chance here at getting a win if he pulls off the defense correctly and doesn't lose his cool. Three tenths off, they're basically bumper to bumper. Hardly anything separates the cars. Alright, Kivovic has the run. Just got nowhere to go though. As Photos keeps on the black stuff, no, he's not going to be able to get past, but Kivovic on the inside, the side by side. Too wide down the back stretch. Photos managed to keep ahead of him. Kivovic has to tuck him behind, but he might go too wide for a second. Inside to the outside. Fotis covers it off successfully. He's done well to keep it this far. But there's Darnell in the background. He managed to catch up. He's only around two and a bit seconds off. But the more Christian trips over Fotis like this, loses time, Andy Darnell will get closer. You heard me right, folks. Andy Darnell's on a charge. And with 12 minutes to go, he's definitely got the time to claw that time back that he lost after his earlier race kerfuffle. Kubovic is just trying and trying and trying, but he's just not finding any gap whatsoever. Another lap, another second from Andy Darnell. He's inching ever so slightly closer. It's Lada versus Honda versus Audi. Christian's on the inside of the next corner on the back stretch. Fotis has got enough traction to keep it out of front. Fotis covers off the inside. And Fotis managed to keep it. Ziziglu is doing a defensive masterclass in Stowe Circuit tonight. This is why we love reverse grid action. And here comes Darnell on the inside. Not quite enough traction yet, but he's there now. And he wants that first place as much as Kubovic wants it. This is why reverse grid racing is some of the best decisions I've had in this touring car championship so far. It's not a championship, it's a one-off day, but you get the idea. It's some of the best ideas that's ever been had in motorsport. Because drivers, like midfield drivers, don't often have the opportunity to go out in front, but with reverse grid, people who know how to defend can get some wins to their name. So other drivers have their chance to shine in the spotlight and bring home a trophy in their name. This is getting very close. This is a 3-car train at the front. But none of the drivers seem to be able to have enough room to get past each other. It's pretty tight. Oh, and Fotis has gone wide. He's tucking behind Kubovic, trying to get enough traction. He might go out on the inside. He's trying it. Late braking. Doesn't make it. Kubovic leads the race. Fotis in P2 from pole position. Andy Darnell's the next car he's going to have to defend from if he wants to salvage a P2 out of this, or catch Kubovic in a late race turn of events. Well, don't doubt that Andy Darnell will eat him up for breakfast before long. 9 minutes remaining. Kubovic has taken the lead of the race. Fotis is burnt out. He's worked out too much heat in his fronts. He keeps understeering off before the backstretch. This has got no more traction. He's working his tires too hard. Andy Darnell is planning to convert his late restart into what seems to be a pole position. He wants to, podium. But he wants to go one up. He wants to go P2 instead of P3. Hardly half a second separate them both. If Andy wants to challenge for the win, now's the time to get past Fotis before he runs out of time and before Kubovic makes too much ground. So Kubovic is leading from the back of the grid after starting from the back. It's absolutely mastered these touring cars. These front-wheel drive cars are very hard. It can be difficult for others to drive that are used to rear-wheel drive, and easy for, I suppose, easy for others. Front-wheel drive is an acquired taste for drivers. It's the best way. In Andy's words, actually, when I was speaking to him, he put it best. Which is why Andreasen isn't here today, actually. He doesn't like the front-wheel drive. Andy Darnell on the inside of Fotis tries to make it happen. And Fotis goes wide into the gravel. Andy takes second, and Fotis is scrambling to get back onto the track. What a wonderful surprise for Andy Darnell. His pressure has paid off. And now to catch the Kubovic in front. He's got around 3 seconds worth of ground to make up in 6 minutes. Can he do it? I've seen it from him before. Meanwhile, at the back of the grid, Andy Foster is chasing down a lot of Vesta Buick. Buick does some kind of maneuver there to slow down the car ahead of Foster. The man nearly had a massive accident, but they survive. Buick seems to be addicted to cutting the track. He's about to get lapped. I'm sure he is lapped. Rodriguez is on the prowl for Dave Ziska's 4th place. He wants a better points finish. Rodriguez has got 1.3 seconds worth of ground to catch up on Dave Ziska. Andy goes onto the grass. A little bit of a lapse in concentration. We're starting to get to that stage. He's gone at it for 15 minutes straight without a break. Everyone's starting to get tired. And 5 minutes to go. Lap 18. Kubovic is leading ahead of Andy Darnell, who's converted a late race start into something absolutely spectacular. 2nd place. Fotis has had a few heartbreaking mistakes and is converting his pole position into solid midfield points. P3. Dave Ziska has gone up 1 position into P4, starting P5. And Marcelo Rodriguez has also gone +1 on the starting position. Andy Foster has dropped 4 positions, and Abraham Buick has dropped 3 since the race start. And Buick and Foster have both been lapped at least once. Seems like Andy's starting to drop back a little bit now. 4.5 seconds off of Kubovic. Seems like the damage he's taken off of Buick has been severe. Kubovic just has a fast car this time. But maybe in another race, Andy Darnell will be able to challenge for the win sometime ever again. He definitely has it in him. He just needs a fast car. something, not with the sides bashed in. I know he has it in him. Rodriguez is starting to get a little bit of time on Dave Ziska, but it's not going to be enough. There's enough time for that around 2-3 laps. We're getting to the climax of this race, boys. I can imagine by this stage, everyone's tires are starting to overheat. This is a very close quarters track. Lots of strong bends. And touring cars do not like strong bends. The front wheel drive just overheats the outside tire. It makes it impossible to grip, no corner speed, and you spin off into a barrier and you die. Which is a reason why lots of people tend to stay away from these touring cars, namely Andreasen, which you might know from outrunning prototypes in the GTE in the endurance race. Like even the Viking himself has a few cars he's not content with. We've all got our favourites and we tend to stick to them. But there's tons of variety to be had. It's of an underrated class. "60 seconds. It's gonna be a final lap for Kubovic. Dave Ziska's crashed out. He's finally cooked under the pressure of 20 minutes of running. Marcelo Rodriguez in P4 now. That one just fell into his lap. But anyway, final lap. Christian Kubovic and Andy Darnell and Fotozistaglou are their top 3. And Dave Ziska is the only one to retire in this race. Kubovic has kept it solid and consistent throughout this entire race stint, 20 minutes straight. A real racing driver. He's in dominating fashion, he goes on to win the 2nd race of this event. Darnell converts his race start into 2nd. Bit of a botched start. He got hit by Buhik, Ibrahim in the 2nd lap at DCR. I'm sure some words will be had later on. Marcelo Rodriguez manages to convert his, well, what was a sixth place start into a P4 finish. I guess Dave Ziska couldn't handle the pressure anymore. Happens to the best of us. Anyway, it's one more win onto the count for Christian Kubovic and Andy Darnell with the fastest lap. Well done, Andy.